Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Happy Thanksgiving to you. How are you this morning? On what looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, right? There we go. There's the setting I was looking for. So how are you? We haven't talked for well, it's been a couple of weeks now because last week, Wednesday morning, I wasn't in the studio. We recorded a little bit early and I had a chance to get out the opening day of Michigan's firearm deer season. No deer yet for me, although I'm not done yet. There's plenty of time to be out there chasing Michigan whitetails. How have you been doing? Hey, Johnny, the bear whisperer. How are you, buddy? Carl, nice to have you along with us as well. Eric, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. Nice to have you along with us on this edition. Good morning, John Sullivan of Lure Lipstick, lurelipstick.com. Eric, no, I think I already said, well, good morning twice to you, Eric. How are you? On this day before Thanksgiving, I hope you have a chance to get together with friends and family tomorrow. Relax, eat some good food. Jerry, good morning. How are you? John, nice to have you along with us. Ed, how are you? Ed says, another Ed says, Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Matt, the coyote killing king, Matt Schock, is in a blind right now with his oldest son looking for a deer. Good luck to you. David, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic here in the studio of WSGW. In fact, we're right on Tittabawassee, very near the Zilwaukee boat launch on the Saginaw River. And I saw two beautiful boats going by this morning. And you know where they were headed. They were headed to the Saginaw River to jig some walleye. David, good morning. Nick, good morning. I saw that you got yourself a nice buck, Johnny. Congrats. Dina, good morning. Al, good morning. Yes, Ed, I believe spots are still available. I tried to call and text Dixie Dave this morning before the show, but I think we still have spots available for the last Wednesday night live at Dixie Dave's restaurant 2 weeks from tonight, December 7th at 7 o'clock. You'll want to make your reservations for 6 or 6:15 or so. So you can be done eating by the time the show starts. Call for reservations, 989-624-9349, 989-624-9349. Call for reservations, and you can join us. Billy's still out there chasing deer. Jeff, good morning. How are you? Raymond says it's the quietest opening day he's ever experienced. Is that because it was a Tuesday opener, Ray? I wonder about that. I'm going to make a few comments myself for the radio show here. Yeah, it was pretty quiet for me too. I have not seen a deer. Good morning, Mike. Mark, good morning. How are you, buddy? Nice to have you along with us. Always good to hear from you. My friend. Yeah, it was. It is hump day. Cliff, good morning. How are you? Dave says, good morning. Been skunked so far, not quitting yet. I'm right there with you, Dave. I haven't seen a deer that I could that I wanted to shoot yet. I have not seen a mature doe yet. Certainly haven't seen a buck that I would want to shoot. Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, northernwildernessbearoutfitters.com. Hey, Ron, I was thinking because I will be next August 15th, 2 weeks from my daughter's wedding, I better come up and hunt with you in the spring if that's okay. So I'd like to do a springtime hunt, if you don't mind, Ron. Jim, good morning, Cap. Right back at you. Of course, that'll get in the way of my walleye fishing, but next summer, that's going to be the way it is. Chad, appreciate you joining us. Ed says it was quiet in Alcona County. Looking at a text here. Okay, good. Ron says that's fine. I do love the August hunts, but when you've got family obligations, you adapt and change your schedule. Big guy currently sitting in the blind with your turkeys in front of me. Excellent. Cliff got a doe opening morning. Here's something. Mike says a week and a half till his elk hunt. A cow. Can't wait. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Mike. I look forward to seeing a picture of you sitting over that big cow elk. Speaking of cows and does, we had a hey Craig, good morning. How are you, buddy? There was a comment here on the Facebook page. Josh Mapes of Overdrive Outdoors, who is an excellent hunter. He shot a big doe, and I posted it here on the page, and I congratulated him on his harvest because that's what I'm after. I'm trying to shoot a big doe. Just haven't seen one yet. Pretty hard when the people around you are baiting, though. I have no proof of that. I just suspect that's what the case. That is the case. And somebody said, why take pride in shooting a doe? Why don't you learn how to hunt? Well, that person has now been banned from the page because that's an asinine statement. That's an ignorant statement. And there is no place for such statements and comments and people on my social media outlets. That's a ridiculous statement. Clip said, I found out some northern counties, your combo tag can be used on either sex. That's, I've been doing some research as well. And I was thinking, I better hurry up because my goal is to shoot a big doe with that Brenton 350 Legend. I'm thinking, I better hurry up because the season ends the end of November, right? No. We basically have now in the southern part of the state, we have a month-long firearm season because during the muzzleloader season, there you go, David. A mature doe is the hardest animal to hunt in the woods. I pretty much agree with you there. So the muzzleloader season, you can now use a 350 Legend or a 450 Bushmaster or any number of center fire rifles. So basically in Michigan now, at least in some parts of the state, we have a month, 3 week long, almost a month long firearm season. So I have plenty of time yet. And let's extend it one further. During the late doe season, you can also use your 350 Legend or your 450 Bushmaster. So, because I was going to go back out with my dart and crossbow. Why go out with a crossbow when I can go back out with a 350? When I was asking some people in the DNR why this is the case, why such liberal harvest regulations, they said, we want people to kill deer. So if the DNR wants people to kill deer, hey, Josh, did you see that stupid, ignorant, asinine comment from that guy? I have since deleted it, and he will be banned when I get off the air here. Good morning, Brett. How are you? Okay, so if the DNR wants us to kill deer, why will they not allow baiting? Because I think the situation we're running into is some of the neighboring properties are, I imagine, using bait. Which, you know what? I don't have a problem with, other than the fact that it's technically illegal. Okay. And I can't do it. But if Chad Stewart of the DNR, who is the head DNR wildlife biologist and pretty much takes care of the deer herd, if he said on my show that they basically may have overreacted to the whole CWD situation, and CWD is the reason that they used for banning baiting in the Lower Peninsula, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Ray says, actually, Mike, you can hunt does for 6 weeks. It's dumb to allow all firearms during muzzleloader season. Craig says the need to kill more does is going to lead to the end of the baiting ban. I tell you what, Craig, I think it should lead to the end of the baiting ban. I think it's ridiculous to have a law in Michigan on the books that you can't enforce. And obviously the game wardens, there aren't enough of them to enforce the baiting laws. Just my thoughts. Good morning, Daryl. Getting ready for the wolf season coming up there in White River. Tim says, with so many opportunities to hunt, why do we shoot the big bucks before they breed? Just saying. Just saying. Lots of people mad I've taken 5 does, but my family and freezer sure aren't. You know what, Josh? To heck with it. You got the tags. It's legal. Go for it, buddy. Dave, you have a great Thanksgiving as well. Daryl says he is getting ready for the wolf hunt. Daryl, I've had a lot of people contact me. I have sent them your direction, but I suspect you are full and do not have any openings for wolf hunters in White River this winter. Is that true? Is that the case? So yeah, if we have Let me take a break here. Get a little more caffeine. So if we have very liberal harvest regulations, if you can shoot a doe on your combo tag, if the firearm season has basically been extended into the month of December, well into the month of December, and they do that because we want to shoot more deer, why do they make a significant percentage of Michigan hunters technically illegal because they're hunting over bait when the threat of CWD has been overstated? Hunter Joe, habitat improvement can do wonders instead of relying on bait. Absolutely. If you're in an area where you can do habitat improvement. Ross, all set here for Oscar and Joey's on the 7th. Excellent. Daryl says he does not have room. He's going to be busy. Good for you, Daryl. Good for you. What Ross Elliott is talking about is the Wednesday Night Live at Oscar and Joey's restaurant. That is Wednesday, December 7th. I agree with you, Matt. If you want to join us, call 989-624-9349 for reservations. 989-624-9349 for reservations. Tell them how many in your party, what time, and leave your phone number so they can call you back to confirm. We will sell out that night because Dixie Dave Miner is retiring, and this will be the last Wednesday Night Live we are ever able to do at one of his restaurants. So I'd love to have you join us if you have time and money for habitat. Here we go. Ray says you can kill up to 14 does. Deer herd is much higher than the DNR will admit, but they continue to push hunters out. And I don't mean to harp on this baiting thing, but it's something I've been experiencing personally, and it makes it hard when I suspect the people around you might be using a little bit of bait. It's hard to get the deer into your area if you're not baiting. James says, I don't have money for time or habitat improvement, but I do have $4 for a bag of carrots. Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? See you tomorrow. Daryl says, but feel free to contact him for information on the wolf hunts. You can get a hold of Daryl. Well, he's here on the Facebook page right now. You can message him directly, or if you want to get in touch with me, send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. And why can you hunt wolves in Montana and not Michigan? Well, that's not a Michigan DNR thing, Craig. That's Hunter Joe. Excellent point. Kill big bucks before they're breeding. What they're big, they've been breeding for years and passing on their genetics for years. Bait ban is worthless when food plots are legal. We have food plots on our lease property, and the deer are coming into the food plots after dark. I don't know, just some things to consider. Also on the page, I posted Zach Romanak, who is the son of Mark Romanak of Fishing 411. Mark used to be a pro staffer on My Outdoor Magazine TV show, and Zach killed a buck for the show 10 years ago or so. And so he said, hey, here's another buck I shot. I thought it would be cool to share it with you. And I posted it on the page. And he's using a suppressor. People said, why do you need to use a silencer to kill deer? Well, you can call it a silencer, a suppressor. I have a suppressor on order for my Brenton 350 for hearing protection. I've been sitting in a big box blind thinking if I touch that gun off while I'm inside this hard-sided blind, it's going to, hey, there's Zach right there. Yeah, Zach, and I'm with you. And I have a suppressor on order for my gun, my 350 Legend, my Brenton, because I know sitting in that hard-sided box blind, and it's a big blind, and I like to hide to the back so the deer can't see me. But if I'm sitting in the back of that hard-sided blind and I touch that gun off, it's going to blow my ears out. So the option is I actually had foam earplugs that I put in, which I don't want to do when I'm hunting. The other option is to sneak up to the front of the blind and put the muzzle outside the window, which when those deer are 30 yards from you, a big old doe and a couple of fawns looking around, I don't want to take the risk of blowing them out of that food plot by sticking the muzzle out the window. The other option is to put a suppressor on there, which is what I'm going to do. It's just not here yet. Marty says the deer actually went nocturnal quick this year in our area, like overnight with the snow. Hey, Ruben, how are things in Colorado? Hunter Joe, you appear to be quite an expert. If the deer are only hitting your plots after dark, there is a lack of cover or sanctuary on your property and probably too much pressure. True. But it's not our property. Only so much we can do about it. A couple of other good comments here. Suppressor doesn't make it silent. No, it doesn't. But it sure as hell would help it when I'm popping a round off inside that hard-sided blind, wouldn't it, Josh? I almost... If you can, yes. When the purpose of the baiting ban has been proven to be inaccurate, why maintain the law? That's a that's probably $164,000 question. I asked Chad Stewart if we would ever see the bait ban lifted in Lower Michigan. He said there are no plans from the DNR's perspective to do that. Charles said, my wife shot a spike buck. I fulfilled the exit doe tag. I say that right. Uper, both killed the 350 legend. Excellent. I did almost shoot a little spike opening morning. I had the crosshairs on what I thought was a nice doe's shoulder, and I watched her, and he turned his head just right, and there were two little spikes. I'm glad. Well, bigger. I mean, I'm sure I'm glad I didn't shoot that thing. If I would have, I would have. I mean, it would have been a legal harvest. Pastor, how are you? Nice to see Pucks with a picture of the big Michigan bucks. Venison on the menu. Meat first, then cigars. Amen to that one, brother. I know this whole bait thing has really gotten it's a burr under my saddle lately. I have two burrs under my saddle. Hi, Charlie. You'll notice that I manipulated the light switch a little bit over there. Just take a look at my manipulation. So don't breathe on it, because then our lights right here will go off.
Very nice.
Now, in 10 minutes, I don't care if they go off.
But you need the overhead down
because of this.
Okay. Very good. Did you get a picture of that?
I did not. I'm going to, though, when I get done with this.
Okay,
Next question for Chad. Why is there no intention to lift the ban? Mark, are people baiting in your part of the state? I'm not asking if you're baiting. I'm asking if hunters are baiting in your part of the state. Brats in the freezer. Yes, that's an 11 point. It's interesting. No reason to have a limit on the number of rods trolling anglers on the Great Lakes can use. And I'm starting to come to the conclusion that there is no reason to have a bait ban in the Lower Peninsula. It's in my mind, it's starting not to make any sense. Why have a law on the books you can't enforce? And is that law a legitimate, is it biologically sound and necessary in the first place? I'm starting to think the answer is no. If deer gather under an oak tree, how is that different if they gather over a little bit of corn spread out? I don't know. And I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe this is something we need to take a closer look at and maybe put some pressure on the DNR and say, look, if it's not valid and you can't enforce it, get rid of it. And then we'll be spreading corn all over the property that we're hunting, and we can compete with everybody else. Oh, I didn't see that. Josh says they ask on the harvest report if you use bait. Well, that would be kind of dumb to say yes, wouldn't it? Unless you're in the UP. I believe that, Johnny. And I'm not anti-DNR at all, but I would question any organization that puts a law into effect that they can't enforce and is not valid. All right, Daryl, have a good day, buddy. Charlie, you're my guy all day today, aren't you?
You and me, buddy.
All right.
scary as it sounds.
Not scary at all. Sounds comforting. I know I can just sit back and relax. Brad says the science doesn't justify the law. Deer are social animals, bait or not, they will eat together. Chad at one time told me, well, it's deer from the same family group and they've already been exposed. And I just don't know. I'm not buying it anymore. Just not buying into it anymore. That and an arbitrary number on the limit of rods that trolling anglers can use on the Great Lakes. The fish are protected by a creel limit and a size limit. It doesn't matter how many rods you use to catch them. Stupid laws. Why have a stupid law on the books? Oh, it's not every time, Josh says. 3 times in the 6 that you've reported so far. Mapes, why are you killing so many does? Josh Mapes, you're filling your freezer with does. Why are you proud of that? Why don't you learn to be a real hunter and just shoot 1.5-year-old bucks, Josh Mapes? Good morning, Erica. How are things in the thumb? It would also be nice to bait when you are taking youth out to keep the younger generation interested. I don't even know what the Jones Act is, Ed. Sorry, I don't even know what that one is. The Jones Act. I admit to not knowing that one.
About a minute.
A minute. Johnny says his nephew paid $197 for his bait pile in Houghton Lake, and they didn't even fight it. He didn't even fight it. He just paid it. I can't do it. I mean, I can't do it. I certainly can't. I don't think it's valid, but it is on the books, and I have to abide by that. Just like rod limits. I think it's crazy, but I will run 3 per angler just because it's the law, and I that's what I need to do.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Just mic test.
All right. In a few seconds, my friends, I'm going to have to switch the focus on what I'm doing from this social media feed to recording the radio show. Reminder, we will be back tonight for a Wednesday Night Live where we'll give away a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. And then the 7th, next 2 weeks from tonight,
10 seconds.
we will be doing our last Wednesday Night Live at Dixie Dave Restaurant, Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse in Birch Run.
Forward.
3, 2, 1, blast off. So if you want to join us, call 989-624-9349 for reservations. 989-624-9349 for reservations. If they don't answer, leave your name, your number, and the number of people. Hey, good morning, Joe. How are you? Congrats on that nice buck. All right, my friends, I got to go. Join us tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Send me your deer pictures. Probably the best way to do it at this point, send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. If I don't see you tonight, have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey, and go blue. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine Show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network, and so glad to have you along with us. How have you been since we last talked? Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Are you enjoying this weather roller coaster? When Michigan's meteorologist Mark Torregrossa was on the show a few weeks ago, he said it's going to be a roller coaster. And Mark, you absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I haven't been in the studio here since the opening day of the firearm season, so we haven't had a chance to talk since then. But how is your season going? Have you sent me a picture to post on the Facebook page? Send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Or you can send it to me in a private message on the Facebook page. I find Facebook is so screwy lately, and they make it so hard. It'll be a better quality picture if you email it to me. If you send it to me in a private message, I can still share it, but the image quality will be degraded a little bit. So try Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My season, pretty slow so far. The opener was very slow. I heard a few shots. I haven't taken a deer yet. I have not had a deer in front of me yet that I want to take or would be a legal target. I did almost shoot a small spike opening morning. I thought I had my crosshairs on a big old doe, watching it, waiting for her to turn just right. And just before I pulled the trigger, she did turn just right. And she turned out to be a he. It was a spike. It would have been a legal target if I would have shot him. It would have been legal and it would have been great venison. It wouldn't have been something I was striving to do, but it would have been a legal target. I'm still out there trying to shoot a big doe with my Brenton 350 Legend. I just haven't had one in front of me yet. People say, "Well, why are you doe hunting, Avery? Why aren't you out there buck hunting?" Well, listen, if the right buck walks in front of me, I would pull the trigger, but I don't expect this point in the season where I'm hunting with the hunting pressure around me, I don't expect that buck is going to walk in front of me. If he does, I'll throw some lead at him. But in the meantime, I want to shoot a big doe. I posted a picture. Actually, it was Josh Mapes of Overdrive Outdoors, who is an outstanding hunter. He's an excellent hunter. I posted a picture of Josh sitting over a big old doe, and somebody commented on the Facebook page, "Why are you proud of that? Why are you shooting does? Why don't you learn how to hunt?" Well, you know what I did with that comment. I deleted that comment and I banned the person from the page. There's no room for such comments. I mean, if you choose to think that way, that's okay. It's an antiquated, outdated, old-fashioned way of looking at whitetail management. But if that's the way you choose to think, okay. But don't shame a fellow hunter because they chose to do the right thing and manage the herd properly by shooting a big doe instead of a small buck. There was also a comment. In fact, this was Zach Romanek, the son of Mark Romanek, who used to be a pro staff of Mark Romanek of Fishing 411 TV, who used to be a pro staffer on my old Outdoor Magazine TV show. And Zach shot his first buck for the TV show on camera, on video. So he sent me a picture of a nice buck he shot recently, and he had a suppressor on his gun. Now, a suppressor is something I have on order for my Brenton 350 Legend. Not because I want to silence it and do anything nefarious or illegal with that gun, but I want to protect my hearing, what little bit I have left of it. And a suppressor is a great idea. So if you see somebody hunting with a suppressor, it's legal and it's a good idea if you're willing to jump through the legal paperwork and jump through the legal hoops that you have to get a suppressor these days. So by next season, I hope there'll be a suppressor on my Brenton 350 Legend, but there's not quite yet. Couple of thoughts on this season, and deer hunting in general these days. I was thinking that I better hurry up. I'm thinking, Avery, you better hurry up if you want to shoot a doe with that 350 Legend, because you know the firearm season closes at the end of November. And then I started looking around. Yeah, the Michigan firearm deer season does close at the end of November. However, in my part of the state at least, when the muzzleloader season comes along, I can continue to use that Center Fire 350 Legend right on through muzzleloading season. And then I can use it during the late doe season as well. So we're basically looking at a 6-week firearm season in effect. So I started asking some questions in the DNR about why such liberal harvest regulations. And the answer is, well, we want people to shoot more deer. Okay, you're the experts. That's fine. If you think that's the case, I will go along with that and support that and take advantage of the opportunities that you've provided for me by shooting a center fire rifle into the month of December legally. I'll do it. I'll take advantage of it. But if you really want to kill more deer, let's take a look at the baiting issue now. Baiting is banned in the Lower Peninsula because the powers that be in the DNR said they were concerned about the threat of CWD, and they thought that baiting would be an unnecessary risk in spreading CWD throughout our Michigan whitetail herd. But a few weeks ago on the show, Chad Stewart, who is the head big game biologist for the DNR, said, maybe I don't think he used the word overreacted. So that is my word. I'm using the word overreacted. But he said, maybe we were a bit too cautious in trying to do the right thing to prevent the spread. And I don't blame them for that, right? If you've got what you think is this threat that's going to wipe out the Michigan deer herd, yeah, it makes sense to do whatever you can to take care of that threat and minimize that threat. But let's look at baiting. If number one, from what I'm seeing, I think it's pretty obvious the DNR can't enforce a bait ban. A lot of Michigan hunters are hunting over bait. Lots. And it's really hard to compete if your neighbors are using bait. It's really hard to bring deer into your property if you're not baiting. I can't do it. I won't do it. Just because it's illegal and I can't do that. But I got to be honest, I can see why hunters might use bait just to try to compete with the other hunters around them. And again, what's the difference between deer feeding on apples that have dropped out of a tree and you taking some apples and throwing them out in front of you? So I personally am really starting to question this whole idea of why we have a bait ban if, number one, the DNR wants people to shoot more deer. Number two, it appears the law can't really be enforced anyway. And number three, maybe we were a bit overly cautious, we being the DNR. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Something to think about. Two things under burrs under my saddle lately. That one, the bait ban, and number two, the restriction on the number of rods Great Lakes trolling anglers can use. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and we will talk about it again, but at a more appropriate time of year. I just don't see a reason for having arbitrary laws that can't be enforced and make no sense. I'm all for protecting our resources. Number one, first and foremost, protect our resources. Number two, provide as many outdoor recreational opportunities as possible for our Michigan hunters and anglers. Beyond that, if something doesn't make any sense, then why do it? Why have it? Why have it on the books? A couple of other things. Make sure you join us during this holiday season for Wednesday Night Live on my social media outlets, all of them except for Instagram. We can't get Instagram and my streaming platform to play nice together. Now through January 1st, we are giving away a Michigan brand ham, courtesy of the folks at Michigan Brand Meats and the Grillo family. But you have to join us. You have to join us. We give away one every week. That's on Wednesday Night Live, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on my social media outlets. And here's big news. Coming up Wednesday, December 7th, we will be doing a Wednesday Night Live at Dixie Dave Miner's Restaurant, Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse in Birch Run. We haven't done one of these for quite a while, and we will never be able to do one again because Dixie Dave is retiring. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to give away quite a few things to our friends who join us live there at the restaurant too, and you'll get a chance to have a great meal. There's no cost on this, but you do need to make reservations. I know we're going to fill the place up. If you would like to join us, 989-624-9349, 989-624-9349. I don't like to give out numbers on the show, but that is the number to Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse. Call it. If nobody answers, leave a message, who you are, your number, and how many people will be joining you. If you need that information again, send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. I hope you can join us. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show after the break, Glenn Duncan. I originally was going to bring Glenn on the show. Hey, Glenn, how do you take care of your gun, your rifle, after deer season? And I realized rifle deer season doesn't really end anymore. It just keeps going. But we'll talk about that and more. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. I think Tom's going to join us. He didn't confirm. In hour number 2, cold water safety. This deals with ice fishermen and fishing open water this time of year, from retired Coast Guardsman Joe Marion. Angela and Kawawa of the DNR talking about our elk hunt. And in hour number 3, we get ready for the ice fishing season with Mark Martin. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. That's this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, my friends, I got to go. Hope to see you tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. In the meantime, have a great day, my friends.